Hello my friends of WildRift and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video, and for today we are going to take a look at the first look at WildRift patch 3.5b. But before we hop into it, let's talk about our question of the day. What are your plans for the end of the year? Let me know in the comments below. Since we are getting close to the end of the year, the patches for Riot or the games for Riot will just tone down a little bit. It's close to their winter season and they have a vacation very soon. But for this patch, I'm just gonna ask, what is going on here? What is the reasoning behind those choices? I'm very curious and I would love to know what is going on. But let's first start with the buffs for champions. We have Dr. Mundo. His first ability, Infected Bonesaw damage, is increased in the terms of monster damage cap. On level 1, the spell's damage against monsters is doubled in the terms of his cap, and later on it's almost also doubled. In this case it's 350 to 550. Second thing that is changed about Mundo is his Heart Zapper cooldown. Are those buffs gonna put Mundo into the meta? Hell no, but you'll definitely try him out in the jungle role. Next on this list is Garen, another champion that is quite weird when it comes to buffs. First off, Garen is not really in a bad spot, is he? Maybe according to Riot metrics he is, but this champion is completely fine. So let's talk about the changes. Garen is receiving 3 changes to his third ability. Number 1, they increase the base damage. Number 2, they increase the total base damage for all ticks as a consequence. And another nice thing they're doing, they're increasing the Judgment outer damage critical multiplier as well by 10%. Which means now Garen's third ability deals a lot more damage than it did before, which maybe changes a few of the matchup dynamic he's in, but it most certainly will not really impact if he's strong or weak, because this champion is picked into certain matchups anyway. Next on this list comes a change to Kassadin, and let's be honest, what the heck is going on? His first ability, Nalthia's base damage, is increased by 10, and the cooldown is decreased by 1 second. What are those changes? It's literally copium, it's not gonna change a single thing. It's just a typical change that they want to introduce so people play the champion more often, so it changes their metrics afterwards. The next change on this list is coming to Kayn. It's about his passive here and the second ability. For the passive, which is directly influencing the Shadow Assassin form, the damage is increased from 10% to 38%, and now it's 14 to 42%. For his second ability, the cast time is reduced from 1.55 seconds to 0.4 seconds. Let's be honest, when it comes to Kayn, it's all about his form. When he gets the form early on and goes for the red form, he is surely gonna win, or let's say his chances of winning are very high, but going for blue is just simply not enough. In WildRift you gain too much base armor too fast and too many levels too fast, so assassins that go for actual lethality items are not that great. Even Zed surely goes for a more bruiser oriented approach, and most of his damage comes from his abilities, and the blue Kayn compared to those abilities just doesn't have enough damage. It will just not be enough, trust me. For our next change of this list, we have an interesting one, and it's Nunu. So every Nunu enjoyer will just come together and enjoy their time. Nunu's first ability, Consume, gets a healing buff from 60% AP ratio to 70% ratio. His third ability, Snowball Barrage, ability power ratio goes up from 4% to 5% per snowball. Therefore, the Snowball Barrage maximum snowball ability power ratio goes up from 68% to 85%. If that wasn't enough already, his ultimate is also getting a buff. Absolute Zero's shield ability power ratio goes up from 150% to 180%. So all the Nunu AP mains out there, rejoice, it's time to have some fun. Our last buff for this patch comes to Pantheon. His third ability, Aegis Assault's cooldown, goes down from 80 seconds on level 1 to 15 seconds level 1, but later on it reaches the same cooldown again. Another change that comes to Pantheon is changing his armor penetration percentage from his ultimate's passive. Rather than previously capping out at 20% on the highest level, it now caps out at 25%. In this case, it's a buff on level 9 and level 13. Is it gonna change too much for Pantheon? Not really, he'll still be picked when you just want to stomp people and believe they're bad, but this champion will not accomplish too much when it comes to actual play. Now we move over to the nerfs, and what the hell am I seeing? Let's just be honest, what is this? Braum is getting a base attack damage and base armor nerf? Huh? Why? Since when have you last seen a Braum that was actually a threat? I honestly can't believe. I only know that Braum is annoying to deal with sometimes for specific champions, but you cannot realistically tell me that this champion is so busted that he needs a nerf. No way. However, a champion next on this list most definitely deserves a nerf, and here's why. Rakan is one of those champions that is very influential when it comes to just carrying a fight due to individual performance, going for the quickness, going in and just demolishing the people with a flash and a good grunt entrance is very powerful. To now counteract this, Riot is reducing the movement speed from the quickness from 100% bonus movement speed after hitting an enemy to 75%. But if we're really honest, for a real flashy Rakan play, it's still gonna be enough. It's just about streaking and hitting multiple people that are more spread out. But if they're already grouping, which most of the time happens in solo queue, they will still be dead instantaneously. With those nerfs and buffs out of the way, let's move on to items and runes. In this case, only runes. And let's be honest, what the hell am I reading? We are buffing Giant Slayer, Sudden Impact, and Pathfinder. Okay. Let's just get it out of the way. Why in the 7 hells are you buffing Giant Slayer? From 500 bonus health increased damage by 10% to 700 bonus health increased damage by 14%. This rune was already broken since we are thinking about very bruiser heavy meta games. A lot of health will be on different people, and having such a damage increase is insane. This rune didn't need a buff, and it's most likely only related to many people just taking Brutal and not realizing that Giant Slayer can win you the game very easily. On the other hand, however, we have to consider that most people just take Brutal as a default rune. And here's why. Brutal is very intuitive as it just grants you more damage with a slap onto an enemy. Giant Slayer has a condition, and people that read things that have conditions usually don't like the conditions. They cannot think so far ahead as to why this rune is good and when it's gonna be good, that they rather default to the easy consumable choice. It's natural. The next buff though is surely not okay. We are buffing Sudden Impact. The armor and magic resist penetration goes up from 10 to 13 and the duration goes up from 3 to 4 seconds. Now here's the problem. If you go for this rune with the Prophet's Pendant and the Void Staff, you have a lot of magic pen and it's very difficult to itemize magic resist in this game. Mercury Threads only grant you 10, and going for any other magic resist item is most likely griefing your build brutally. So the value of this rune, just the value of this rune alone, is more than 1000 gold. Even more if you think about what this rune can do for you and how fast you can reach technical true damage to people on an AP assassin or generally a mage. And let's be honest, mages and AP assassins are strong enough as it is, right? So why are we buffing this? This is crazy. The last change that really is maybe a little bit of niche nowadays is Pathfinder. When you're out of combat, recover missing health or mana per second from 0.6% to 1%. Maybe if they make it both, which I cannot really see from these notes here, it might be a valuable thing and you can maybe even abuse it on the Baron lane if you just chill in River and just want to region up. Maybe you can make an argument that you can abuse this to have more impact on the map without going base, but we need to see how it actually functions. Last but not least, for this patch we have adjustments, and there's Riven. Her base armor per level goes up from 3.9 to 4.5, her base health regeneration from 10.5 to 12, and the third ability's ability shield goes down from 100% attack damage ratio to 90%. So nothing really matters here, it's just why. Anyway, that's it for this patch. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to come back for more because we'll always have more. We're always posting new things nowadays, even full gameplays from stream where you get some nice info catered to you to make yourself better at playing the champion you've seen. Anyway, see you soon.